Hi all. Right, back with more Normandy, the beginning and the end, using the Alone in the Storm solo expansion, playing scenario 2, German counter-attack. This is my part 9, so same days, I've just done part 8. I realised I hadn't quite finished the turn. I just kind of got carried away there and then stopped the video, but I can do that now. Now, I have come back with more of this. I keep threatening to shove it aside. The threat is getting a little bit stronger, however, as I've been printing out. I've printed out and laminated. This is the Combat Commander bot from James Watton, and it printed out quite nice, laminated it, and you've got that and that. They're the two charts, and then the rules, two-sided there. So yeah, I'm still quite keen on giving this a go, basically because it's a game that's been sitting on my shelf ever since probably quite a few years now, probably, and I've never put it to use, and I've always threatened to. And yeah, even if I maybe don't hit record, although I always find that encourages me to keep it going. So we'll see. Anyway, we have started this recording, still playing this, so we shall see. I think I'm just getting ready for the next frustration to hit me and then just say, right, I'm shoving that aside for now. But I mean, I could. This doesn't take up that much space, and this table's quite big. So, okay. Well, let's finish the turn then. So just going back to the sequence of play, activation phase. Yeah. So marker removal phase. So all out of command markers, we had nothing in command. All finished markers. If desired, reaction markers from player side. We don't have any. And then we would leave reaction markers on the AI side, but there's none of them. And then the activity level markers are going to be removed as well. So let me take off the finish markers first. Right, so that's all the finish markers, but like I say, there's no reaction markers we've got, and they don't remove the reaction markers, but they don't have any. Now I'm going to move all the activity level markers, and that high one was for this, wasn't it? Yeah. Which that's the one that removed its motorized, mechanized counter, didn't it? And clearly this still hasn't reached its target. Oh, yeah, these are meant to be flipped over, aren't they? To say that they're in transit. So that should be like that, and that should be like that. That's right, I'll do that with the other two. Right, there we are. So these have still got, this has still got to be going to there, that's still got to be going to there, that's still got to be going to there. But remember, they might not, it depends on what happens as to whether they will move to there or not. It could depend on, like I say, the threat of the American company there. But we'll see. We'll see what that, we should be able to deal with that. So, and then, well, I guess we're moving the turn marker on. So we're on to turn 2. The green status of all the Americans stays with us until it's turn 3, isn't it? Now, I'm showing initiative there on the German side on the AI, but that's not necessarily the case. We're going to have to roll for that, aren't we? So, yeah, well, we're back to the beginning of the turn 2. Yeah, sorry if you didn't, maybe I didn't show you that. There's the turn marker moved on to turn 2. Right, so what do we do next again? Command phase. So we check for everything. Is everything still in command? It all is. Intel markers, these 1, 2, 3, 4 Intel markers are still Intel markers, so they're in the same hex. This is the only company that's been identified. And then, well, this guy's got a range of 3, so everything's in command. And the US Platoons companies haven't moved yet anyway. So that's all fine. So then the HQ phase. So it's a new phase, right? So where's that there's a little chart that deals with that. So we've got to find the rush resistance and then distribute activity level markers for them. So, and I was thinking about this today actually. I was thinking about, right, when I move on to this is the bit I blundered with in the first scenario, and I counted not only objective hexes, controlled objectives, but also counted the step losses and that, because they give you victory points as well. But I was starting to think, it was quite clear in the first scenario that there was objectives. Let me just see, is it still lining up? Well, see, it's on the back of that. Where does it make it quite clear? Yeah, I mean, mix all the VP markers, place one of these in each of the following hexes. 1V to control a hex. Yeah, hang on. 1V per hex loss inflicted to enemy, plus the value of VP tokens of the hexes under control. Well, I suppose, see, yeah, but they're still objective. There was nothing in this scenario to tell us to put these objective markers out there, but I went with it going by watching the Spanish guy's video. But I mean, it does tell you that on this is scenario 2, this is the one we're doing. It does tell us that these are the objectives of them. And it also, does it not give, the victory points will be in the soul part of this. Right, where is that? That's up here in this book, isn't it? Let me just check this. It says, for rush resistance calculations, count each bridge and town hex as 1 VP. The main road counts as 2 VP, except for the already mentioned hexes. And yeah, that was slightly confusing to me, but I can only put that down to now that if either the Americans or the Germans control the whole road, and that means there's no American, like for the German side, there's no American platoons on the road, or there's no American held objectives on the road, then you would get an extra 2 victory points for this count, and vice versa if it was the other way about, the Americans had control of it. So we're going to count, and this is how the guy done it, the Spanish guy. Sorry, I keep saying Spanish guy, I don't know the guy's name. Apologies, but I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce that as well as lots of other things that he's been saying. So this is how he dealt with it, and I'm just going to go with that because it does seem logical. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. There's 3. How many should there be in total? There's bridges 1, 2, 3. There's 4 bridges in 2 towns, and then the road, right? So the 4 bridges are 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that not a bridge then? That's a bridge as well, Grant. No, these are villages, Grant. Sorry. There's a bridge, there's a bridge, there's a bridge, and that's the final bridge there. So, and then you've got the 2 village hexes there, right? So, but these count for 1 victory point. So we control 1, 2, 3, right? And they control 1, 2. That's how he counted it. He counted this one. And although the Americans haven't moved into this, you could argue that this is the same as this and hasn't been controlled yet. I mean, I'm saying this one's not being controlled. I'm going by the front of the Americans haven't, got to this. This one's behind their front, so they've got control of that. That one's clearly theirs because they've got a unit in it. So that's fine. Slight debate about that one, I suppose. Like I say, he counted that for the Americans. So he counted 1, 2 for the Americans here and 1, 2, 3 for the Germans. And it was the same situation. Obviously the Germans had moved along here and crossed over this bridge and the 2 village hexes to take control of them. So it was 3 to the Germans, 2 to the Americans, right? And so if we look now at the rush resistance chart, then the objectives are, so hang on, it's here. So we count control. And again, because there is controlled objectives in this scenario, I'm not gonna count any step losses, right? Please, somebody step in if they feel like that's wrong. But I feel like there is objective hexes. It does mention in the solo rules that you count these as 1 victory point each for them. Even though at the end of the scenario it's got nothing to do with that. I mean, they need to control them all, basically, so it's not counting any values for them. But for the rush resistant, it says you count these for 1. So, count controlled objectives for the AI side is 3. Controlled objectives for the player side is 2. So there's 1 that's not controlled at all. So that's 3, 2. And calculate the difference by step 1 taking away step 2. So 3 take away 2 is 1. So the result is 1. So it's a +1. Is that right? Why does that feel... Why does that kind of feel wrong? So the AI have 3, the player side has 2. We calculate the difference, 1 take away 2, so 3 take away 2 is 1. Yeah, that's right. And then we count the AI forces in play and discard depleted companies, count player companies in play and discard depleted ones. Actually, there is a difference there, isn't there? Because the AI has 5 in the... They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies. I think the Americans only have 4, don't they? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's correct. I'm assuming that was right as well. Give me this book again. I'll have a wee look. German counterattack. So the open mode for the Axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intel markers, and open mode for the Allies is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I think historically as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if you the historical mode is 5. There's 5 companies for the Germans and 4 for the Americans. So it is the same, but obviously we're using the intel markers. So that then, right, hang on. That then. So the difference between that and that, determine forces ratio as division from steps 4 and 5. So 4 was 5, and that's so it's 5 to 4. That right? And then so 5 to 4. Oh no, how do I do that now? I like the combat chart with this. Just going back to it, it's got. I wonder if that I can use that odds chart. No, you can't. But that gives you the odds of everything rather than have to try and work it all out. You've got assault values and that, and it'll give you the actual odds, and then you can turn that into these. It looks pretty good. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that first. So hang on. So I've got 5 to 4. Right, how do I get that? How do I work that one out? How do I break that one down to this? Right, hang on a sec. Let me work this out. Yeah, so I'm looking at an example in the book here, and they've got a lot more. So the AI's got 16 companies, and the player's got 8 companies. So it says 16 to 8, which breaks down to 2 to 1, right? So that's nice and simple. But we've got 5 to 4. So, I mean, obviously 16 divided by 8 is 2. That gives me 2 to 1. Sorry, I know this is all simple maths, but it can sometimes just confuse me. So, and I've got 5, well, they've got 5 divided by 4, so it's 1.25 to 1. So does that just round down to 1 to 1 then? It must do, yeah. Do we round it down? Well, everything, I think it says, there's somewhere in the book it says everything gets rounded down apart from fire factors. Let me just see. Count how many AI companies. Divide the number of AI companies by the number of player companies. Why is it not telling me to round that some way or other? Right, okay, well, it's 1.25 to 1. We'll see, I mean, we've got 3 to 2 there. Does that... No. 3 to 2... Is that 1.5 to 1? Yeah, 3 to 2 would... 3 to 2 would be 1.5 to 1, wouldn't it? 3 divided by 2 equals 1.5. Yeah, so I've not quite got that. What we've got is in between the two, haven't we? So I guess I've got to round it down to just 1 to 1. That's, yeah, I'm assuming, like I say, I'm sure there's something in the rules that says everything gets rounded down, except when you're rounding fire factors, they always get rounded up. So we're going to say 1 to 1, and then we're on the 1 column. So actually that's dropped down to 3 then for them. Now, why is that dropped down to 3? Well, they started with 4. I mean, that's good for us. So I think that means they're only going to get 1 high activity level marker. Half of the rush value, but I think it rounds down, doesn't it? Again, rounds down all the time. Modifiers. Number of companies intel markers were high. Will be half the current rounding down. Yes, a minimum of always 1 though. Yeah, I think they're, so the rush value is 3, so that's going to drop down. 3 in the back of that. It is. It's still rush 3, which means that they get half of that in high activity level markers. So, oops, sorry. So half of 3 is 1.5, but it rounds down, so they're only getting 1 of them, and then they get a total of 3 mediums. 1, 2, 3. So that's all they're getting. Now you might say, well, there's 5 companies. Well, that's what they get with that, and then to make up the 5th, they can have as many low levels as they want. So they're going to, for this, they're going to at least need the 1 low level, because everything's in command in that just now. So yeah, so I think that's right. It did feel a little odd that it was dropping down the rush value, but I think I've done that right. If it had went -1, it would have went up. That feels sort of wrong. It feels like, because it's a 1, they had 3 objectives, Americans have 2, and it definitely has 3 take away 2, isn't it? Count how many objectives, calculate the objectives differential of the AI side minus those controlled by the player. So the AI side had 3, the differential is 1 then. Yeah. So that's a column from the chart using the AI to player companies ratio and the objectives differential. Yeah, so the objective differential is definitely 1. And the ratio we had to assume is 1 and 1, because it's in between that and that. So I think we round it down. So yeah, rush value 3, 1 high activity level marker, 3 mediums, and the rest are going to be low. Okay. Okay, good stuff. So next is initiative phase. Did I put that? Oh, it's here. Are the Germans the attackers here? German player is the attacker. Yes. So Germans are going to get a +1 for being the attacker and a +1 for having the initiative the last turn. So they're going to get a +2. They're going to be the blue dice. Americans are the green dice. So blue dice is getting a +2. Yeah, so they're easily taking the initiative again. It's a pretty tough one to overtake that one, isn't it? Right, so initiative is the Germans, so we don't need to adjust the counters. We've still got them set as the AI1 and that. Okay. Right, so what's going to happen now then? Well, they're going to go first. Now, remember, it was only the Americans were only not allowed to operate in the first turn. American player deploys first. Americans are caught by surprise. First 3 turns are green troops. German players attacker, and there's only one activating units during the first turn. Right, we're on the second turn, so the Americans can do stuff now. Right. So we need to find our priority to see which AI is going to go first. That was that one that we were just looking at. Okay, so our priorities, we're still rush. So it's still offensive up top here. So yeah, we just got to go through this. There's nothing routed. There's nothing routed. There's no 2 action markers assigned, right? So we're down to this one. These conditions are AI force without reaction markers. So none of them have reaction markers. So these all tick the box, yeah. So up to 3 hexes away from an objective hex not controlled by AI forces. Right? See, there is talk of objective hexes, Grant. Except unoccupied hexes behind AI lines with no player platoons in a range of 3 hexes. Right. That's going to be a yes here. But hold on. Yeah, no, that's fine. We're just prioritising who goes first here. So up to 3 hexes away from an objective hex not controlled by AI forces. Right? So this one here is obviously lighting up. I mean, this one's not controlled by AI forces either, but that's just a wee bit too far away. This one is within 3 of, and again, see if the leader wasn't within 3 of that, but part of his company was. Does that count? I would say yes. Yeah, I would say yes. Why not, Grant? Because he can still activate the platoon that's within 3 of that. Yeah, as long as he can activate it, which he will be able. So we've got this company, Hauptmann Heibel, which is Panzer Grenadier mechanised, and we've got this intel marker. Now remember, although it's got a target, we're just finding out who's going to activate first. So that's within 3, that's within 3, this one, 1, 2, 3, that's it. So it's between these 2. The other ones, there's no other objective markers up there, and these are all controlled by the AI. So it's just, we broke it down to these 2. So, well, we need to go to secondary priorities now, don't we? Up to 3 hexes away from an objective hex, not controlled by AI forces, and then the exception doesn't apply. Okay, now we're going to have this. Okay, well, you said you were bringing it in, because these might well be able to coordinate. I'm going to have to look at this now. So yeah, so that's as far as we go in this part of the chart. I think now we're going to check to see if both of these might coordinate together. I'm going to have to go and look though. If they don't, or well, not just, yeah, if they don't, we need to prioritize between the 2 by going through this. And this is going to cause me, well, you know what, it's not. Because I've decided to kind of look at that in a way that what is closest to an objective hex. We're looking at this objective hex here. These are 2 away from it. This is 2 away from it. So I'm just going to go with, I know it doesn't really quite say that, but I did, like I say, watch. Was it the Spanish guy again using that and using it that way, and I think this is just not being translated very well. I could be wrong. Did I post this question out there about asking about what that means? I'd like to think I did, because it just... Yeah, I think I did, didn't I? And again, it's not really been... don't think it was answered. I'll double check that again, because I think that question should be out there. What does this exactly mean? Hex is reachable with safe movement. Well, read it again just now though, Grant. Hex is reachable with safe movement and or with a greater number of objectives. No, it doesn't make sense to me, because we're trying to prioritise who's moving first here. I mean, it just says Hex is reachable with safe movement. Well, this guy could move to here with safe movement. He could move to here with safe movement, which is a hex, but it's clearly not meaning that, isn't it? Anyway, it might then come down to the next... Well, I think we need to see if they're going to coordinate first, because it says 1 to 2 here in the coordination, and well, actually, there's notes here that talk about it. Here we go. So hang on a second. Right, so notes here. The coordination column determines if there is officer coordination and how many companies may be activated at once. So the fact that there's 1 to 2 there means that both of them could maybe coordinate together. So let me look into this. Right, I haven't read through this. I figure we can read through this together, because, yeah, why not? So this is on page 24 of the solo rules, 11.2 officer coordination. And it's just this few paragraphs here. It doesn't go on the next page or anything. So during your activation phase, you may coordinate officer activation as described in the standard game rules. Yeah, during your activation phase, you may coordinate officer activation as described in the standard rules. So we can do it as described in the standard rules. But officer coordination requires some special rules when used by the AI side. Okay, fair enough. As described in chapter 7.1, each activation priority rule may involve supporting forces. Give me a second. Yeah, basically 7.1 just talks about what we're looking at on the player aid, deciding the priority, and obviously the possibility of coordinating more than one company. So a support force, as each activation priority rule may involve supporting forces. A support force is an additional force that complies with the rules for officer coordination, distance between officers, and that may be activated at the same time as the main force. If several forces may be selected as a supporting force, choose the one with closer officers to the main force or intel markers. If several options are still available, choose randomly. Well, there's only the 2 forces, but hang on. Do we need a priority still before we bring in the possible... I think that's maybe what that's saying. A support force is an additional force that complies with the rules for officer coordination, distance between officers, and that may be activated at the same time as the main force. So I still think we've got to find the main force, because we've got to roll a die here, I think, to see if they coordinate anyway. Well, read on just now, Grant. The AI side may coordinate up to 2 officers according to activation priority. The AI side can coordinate officers in the following cases. An AI company may coordinate officers with another AI company, following standard rules for officer coordination, standard rules, chapter 13. An AI company may use officer coordination with an intel mark. See, this is the one, because we've got a company and we've got an intel marker. So we need to... That's why it's a bit different. So an AI company may use officer coordination with an intel marker if that intel marker is located within 2 hexes of any in-command platoons from that AI company. That's correct. It's adjacent to it. The same thing happens when an intel marker tries to coordinate officers with an ace. Yeah, because if the intel marker turns out to be the main force, he's allowed to coordinate with other AI company. Good. And the third bullet there is one intel marker may coordinate officers with other intel marker if the distance between them. Yeah. So if it was just two intel markers here, that's possible as well. If several AI forces qualify for selection as a supporting force, which there's not, choose the one closest to activate company / marker. If there are still multiple options, choose the one closest to player platoons, otherwise choose one randomly. There's not, we've just got two here. AI out-of-command platoons may not use officer coordination. Coordination between AI side companies and intel markers, or between intel markers, is automatically successful. There's no need to roll a die. Oh. Alright, well, we're not going to roll a die then. These are going to coordinate. Interesting. So if it was two companies, we would have to check chapter 13 of the main rules to see how. I should probably just look. I should probably just open that up. Although it seems to say there that we don't need to roll for it, so it's not a big section on it, to be honest. There's some die roll modifiers though, but we're not rolling a die, are we? Coordination allows the activation of two companies simultaneously. This coordination is useful for close assault purposes as described below. To do this, player attempting coordination selects an officer that will act as the main officer. So we still need to find the main platoon, the main company here, whether it's the intel marker or the other one. So we need to break that down, but then they're going to automatically coordinate. And then I'm not sure how we're going to go about dealing with them. Well, they're all going to work together, aren't they? But there's certain things that they can't do, I know that. Okay, right. Well, I'm not sure if it matters about finding the main force here or not, because they're both going to coordinate, but what would it be? We're going to ignore that first one. AI forces with the highest FF against the closest player platoons. Next one's routed targets. The next one, however, is select AI companies first, then intel markers. Right. So if it turns out that these are the same, so AI forces with the highest fire factor against the closest player platoons. See, it's not really. Nah. Right, well, these would have. Oh, one of these has got a step loss, actually. I forgot about that. So that's 7. And that's been reduced by 1. So that's 6. That's 13. The fact these have got 7. So that's 13. 20. 24. So they've got 24 fire factors. Now, I know these all can't fire on this, because this has not got line of sight on it. But it's not really asking that, is it? Let me see, secondary priority rules grant, maybe in the rule book. Where about that? I've just seen that. I was looking at that recently. Activation priority rules, secondary. Next would be AI forces with higher FF than the closest player platoons. What? See, that's just not worded. Next would be AI forces with higher FF than the closest player platoons. Right, sorry, I got dragged away there. So that wasn't worded very good in the rulebook, was it? Next would be AI forces with higher FF than the closest player platoons. It's as if it's saying in the rulebook that they've got higher FF than these. But I mean, in the... Let me just show you that in the rulebook. Just so that... This is the secondary priorities. This is on page 10. And the first one's the one about the... which doesn't make much sense to me. You can see here, must consider this second... If several AI forces meet the same priority rule, the player must consider this secondary priority criteria. And then there's the one about the hexes with greater number of objectives in play or reachable safe movement, which I can't work out. Next would be AI forces with higher FF than the closest player platoons. Well, that reads... The way that's worded reads differently to that, in my opinion. AI forces with the highest FF against the closest player platoons. See, and it's little things like that that is probably causing big trouble here. My guess is that the Spanish writing of that is probably much clearer, and we're just losing a bit of the words and the just it must be difficult changing over languages because it's so easy. I can even read things in different ways even when they are written in English from the start. So once translation comes in, it's bound to cause some issues. Well, I mean, I've used this before, and I've used it as the highest FF against the closest player platoons, because we were looking at all the intel markers in the last, weren't we? We were comparing them, and whoever had the highest FF, that's what we were using. So nobody's commented and said anything, so we're going to stick by that. That's not to say that it still could be wrong, you know. So, well, that means it's them, isn't it? Because these have a 21. Now, hold on, Grant. Hold on. What is this? This is ATRA. So that's not got a 21, Grant. It's only the infantry that have a 21. Let's try to squeeze that in there. ATRA. So they've got 11 AP, 11 artillery, and 8 what do you call it? Anti-tank. Yeah, I mean the most we can consider there is 11, isn't it? Whereas this has got, what did I say, 24 or something? Right, we're going to say that they, and we're not talking about firing on that, able to fire. I think we're just talking about the most FF closest to the US platoon, the US platoon company, whoever's nearest, whoever's got the most firepower. I think that's how we're going with it. Okay, I'm just going to have to start doing that and being strong about it. I'd be happy for somebody to come along with some authority and tell me it's not done that way and it's done this way, and hopefully answer all the other questions that I have, and then maybe be able to start playing this game, you know, and really start to enjoy. I think I could be enjoying this game if it was just becoming clearer to me, but I don't know if we're going to get there or not, to be honest. Okay, so this is the main force, and it's going to coordinate with this. So how do we do that now then? So they're going to join up. So although I don't need to roll for this. Okay. So, well, that's our force, all of them together. So what are they going to do? Yeah, that's what we need to do. What are they going to do? We need to find the orders for them. Now, let's also see if there's anything about coordination in here then. Now, hold on, Grant, hold on. This is orders for each platoon, isn't it? okay. Hang on. Yeah, so just looking at the rules on page 11, 7.2 orders assignment rules. When an AI force has been selected for activation, and our AI force is these two companies, both of them, right? You must assign its orders and execute the suitable actions. And then it talks about simplified game mode, but we're not doing that. For the complete game mode, follow the rules described in this chapter. First of all, determine the orders assigned to each platoon in the company or to the entire company. This is done by rolling a 1d10 die and checking the orders chart K, which is the one that we're looking at. There is some modifiers here that might come into it this time. Okay, and yeah, I mean, things stacked together are going to do the exact same thing. Well, no, not necessarily, because the state of them might change things, because there's not one with a step loss in here. Okay. Okay, let's just try and go through it then, Grant. They're all going to activate together. And this might not be beneficial in this case, but if they were assaulting, it would mean that more things could maybe carry out the assault. I think that's what it benefits. Did it not say that in the coordination rules that it was beneficial for like assaulting? Okay, let's look at he's the officer, right? So we've got one platoon that's full strength and one that's not in this hex here. I don't think this matters how we go about giving the orders out, do we? Right, let's look at the guy that's got that's full strength. So now hold on. We've got to give this an activity level marker, and that's going to be high, isn't it? So this is going on both of them? No, that can't be. I don't think. I think they both need to get an activity level marker. Right, well. Yeah, and that's because I'm skipping by stuff, but I'm just trying to move it along because it's slow, isn't it? Page 10 here. So this is after we've done the priority. We've done the coordination. So we've coordinated them both. We know what we're activating. So once you've determined which AI force to activate, assign it an activity level marker. At the beginning of the activation phase, the AI side has a limited number of high, right, okay. Yeah, so the first action will be choosing an AI company intel marker or out of command platoon, and then assign it a suitable activity level marker. Place activity level marker in the officer status box of the HQ board for complete companies. Place them on the map under the counter for intel markers and out of command platoons. Right, so what if... I'm pretty sure these both need to get a... Thing is, there's only one high activity level marker and then the rest are medium. Or does this... Did they get it complete? I've got a feeling that it said... I think they have to get a separate activity level marker. But then that kind of doesn't make sense, does it? Because if we're using the high one, there's a chance they might get 2 actions. Is that not the whole point of this, Grant? I feel like I've read something somewhere that says that they have to get an activity level marker each because they're different companies. But I'm not reading that. So hang on. I think I found that 6.4, page 8. I don't know if you search on the PDF. Here we are. So this is during the activation phase, you alternate activating officers or command platoons from player side and from the AI side. Starting with the side of the initiative. During the AI side activation, choose an AI company intel marker command platoon according to the priority rules. Well, we prioritise that and they've coordinated day 2. Once the choice has been made, assign a high activity level marker if available to that AI force. If not, a medium, or last resort, a low. Next, check to see if there are any potential supporting forces available, which there are. If so, the officers try to coordinate their actions, and which they do automatically, and both forces are activated at the same time. This is not valid for command platoons. The player must assign an activity level marker to the supporting force, just like every other. Okay, well that means that they're going to get a medium then. Okay, well that's fine, I think. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, it might mean they don't get 2 activations. So these were the priority. These were the main force. So I'm just going to put that on the officer, and then these are going to have to just get a medium because we only had 1 high. Right, but they're all activating. They're all going to get to do something here. And they might get a 2 actions marker, but remember, they don't get to use it right away. We need to go into another turn. And, well, the Americans are going to get to do something in between. Okay, good stuff. Right. So now I can come back to the orders then, I think. I feel like I want to keep reading the rule book there, but we can't just keep going through the rules. This is taking long enough, Grant. So we're looking at the... Yeah, we're not necessarily differentiating between the high and the medium activity here. These are all activated. Oh, well, yeah, we do need to differentiate because these are going to be... The medium's going to be looking in here and the high's going to be looking in here. Okay, that's fine. So we're looking at the main company first, and we're looking at the one with the officer that's got a full... Now, hang on, that says full morale company. Yeah, our morale's fine. Platoons without losses. We're looking at the platoon that's not got a loss. It's got a high activity level marker. We're in offensive rush. So it is in this area. So, is it up to 3 hexes to a player platoon? It is indeed. So it's going to be looking at these 2. It's a platoon without losses, and in fact the other platoon, the other platoon has 1 step loss, so it might not. You can see that there's a difference between the die roll there. So let's deal with this guy first. Platoon without losses, so 1 to 7 be assault, 8 to 10 attack. However, there's modifiers here, so let's glance at these. So there's a +1 for each hex with at least 2 non-routed player platoons located up to 3 hexes away. +1 for each hex with at least 2 non-routed player platoons located up to 3 hexes away. Yes. +1, it's for each hex. So I think that's a +1 because this is 3 hexes away and there's 3 platoons in this hex. And it said up 2 or more, wasn't it? At least 2 non-routed player platoons located up 3 hexes away. +1 for each hex with that. So there's only 1 hex. So there's just a +1 to the die roll. And then there's a -1 for each hex with an intel marker, or at least 2 AI platoons located within 1 hex adjacent. Yeah, they're going to get a -1 as well. So -1 for each hex with an intel marker. The next bit doesn't apply, but adjacent. So again, we're looking at this platoon in here, and there's an intel marker adjacent. So that's a -1. So that's going to be a +1 -1, right? I know this is kind of sluggish, but I've not really looked at this. Well, that's it actually. It's just these two, and then, well, no, you have to be careful with that, Grant. If rush resistance is 2, well, it's actually 3, so that wasn't that far away from that. But none of them apply. So we got a +1 and a -1, so that balances that out. So we're going to roll for the platoon without losses up to 3 X's from a player platoon with this, and there's no modifiers. So 1 to 7 is going to assault, 8 to 10 is an attack. Here we go. 9. Right, so that's just an attack then, not an assault. So you would have thought that, yeah, it's really 1 assault. I think it's cause it's closer, isn't it? Yeah, fair enough. So that's going to get an attack order. So I don't think I'll put, because it's more than likely this guy might attack. Well, I suppose he could roll assault as well. So, oh, that was messy. So let me try and, that's that guy there. He's going to attack. We don't know what yet, but he's going to attack. Well, it's probably this. Right, so the guy that's also stacked with him has got a step loss. So let's roll for him. The modifiers are exactly the same. +1 for this, -1 for that. Okay. So, but the die roll is slightly different. So it's 1 to 4 assault, 5 to 10 attack. So more chance of attack this time. Is that right? Yes. Oh, smashing. just to make it difficult for me. So he's going to assault. Great. Does that all work? Should these be, these are stacked together, should these be doing different things? Oh yeah, because it tells you, I mean, it tells you a platoon with 1 step, a platoon without losses. I can't, well, I mean, unless it tells me that, but then who would we prioritise to do the roll to see if they assault or attack? No, that, it feels like it's right, but something feels off about it. Okay, so, well, I'm going to get right muddled up here then, I think. I mean, that's just these two here. Well, well, hang on. Can't I put this on the, no, I bet he's not, I bet he's a Kickstarter one, isn't he? Yeah, is there? Because we weren't able to put this on before. That's annoying. I wonder if, well, I think I would have came across it. We need a headquarters chart made for all the Kickstarter stuff so that we can at least put these out onto that chart rather than have them clogging up this, because what I kind of need to do now is one of them, right, so that because I'm going to, oh, no, that's not, hang on, yeah, that's it. Alright, okay, that's on that side, right. So, yeah, what I'm going to have to do here is take this off. So this guy down the bottom of the step loss is going to assault. And then this guy is going to attack. And then we've got the officer on top and the activity level marker. Right, okay. 55 minutes, wow. Okay, but I'm not enjoying this at the moment, so it's getting close though. It's getting close to start frustrating me, but right. So let's look at this now. So these are both together, and these are both platoons without losses, right? So we can roll for them both. They're both going to do the same thing, even though one's a machine gun platoon and one's not. They are high activity. We're in the rush, so we're in here. They are up now. Hang on. No, they're not. You know what? They're not going to be within 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, these are not within 3 of a player platoon. And I'm not so sure they get the second one. Platoons in spotting range placed at greater than or equal to 4 hexes. No, they're not getting that either, because they're in the blockage there. I think they're... hold on. No, they can't. Yes, they can see through here, but they cannot see this. So no, they're going to be out of spotting range. So we're going to be rolling on this, because they're platoons without losses, high activity. So 1 to 4 assault, 5 to 10 advance. They're going to get a -1 to this though, because they're not getting the +1, because the platoons are more than 3 hexes away. But they are getting the -1 for the intel marker adjacent. So we're getting a -1 to this. So yeah, I don't know. I think does that make it slightly better chance they're going to assault? Or am I thinking about that the wrong way? Right, let's just roll. Well, -1. I think that's right, isn't it? Oh well, they've got a 1, so 1 - 1 0. So they're going to want to assault then as well. Right, let's stick with that. So I need another counter that's got assault on it. There's a yellow triangle. I think every one of these must be different. Although I felt like no, it wasn't a triangle. I don't think. That's attack. That's a red sort of star. Right, so these two, and I can just put the 1 on them. They're going to assault. And then we need to look at remember this has got medium activity level. Now hold on. These have got an order already. Okay. So even though these coordinated together, they're still going to do their order, I think. So yeah, they don't do anything then. They're just going to carry out their order. Well, hold on though. Because their order is to move, they're going to obviously dismount. Well, they're an intel marker. So what happens there, who knows. And they're going to move 1, 2 across the blockage into the open hex. Then, but having to cross the river. So 3, 4, and then 5 into there. But they're going to be doing that with, as soon as they move into there, he can react with MFF. So I think that's maybe going to stop this from happening. Where do we find that then? Right, okay, found this again, done a wee search for in transit, page 8 in the rule book, which I think we were just at. Yeah, here it is. So page 8, this is 6.4, rule 6.4, that's paragraph here. When an AI force receives a movement order with a destination hex that cannot be reached in that activation, an in-transit marker is placed on that company's counter as described in Chapter 10. AI forces with in-transit markers don't receive new orders and will continue their movement until they reach their destination, unless the movement for that activation fails to comply with the safe movement requirements, or the target hex is occupied by other AI forces exceeding stacking limits, or it is occupied by player platoons. So it isn't going to abide by safe movement. So it says, in those cases, the in-transit marker and the target marker are removed from the map and a new orders are issued following the procedure explained above. So we're going to give them new orders, I think, because I don't think they can safely move. And let's just double check that though. Safe movement is right. It's on some of the charts, isn't it? Just not one that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, safe movement requirements. A player may not react at all, or the player may react up to 6. Hang on, player may not react, or player may react up to 6 in hexes with divisor 2, 3, or up to 9 in hexes with divisor 4, 5. Yeah, so it's okay if it was only reacting with 6 or less when we moved into there, that'd be fine. But we move into there, he is reacting with half of his 18, isn't it? It's 18, isn't it? Yeah, he's not got a reaction marker, so it's halved. So that's 9, but that's within 2 hexes. So as soon as I move into there, he's going to react with 9, which in a 2 defensive hex is a no-no. So, and that's, I think, the only... yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, can I not take a different route maybe and go through this? To be honest, I don't actually think I can move through that stacking wise. But my target hex here, as soon as I moved into that, he can react with 9 and that. So if he can't maybe react with 9 and that, he's going to be able to react with 9 and that no matter what. So these are coming off. Okay, that's good. I like that. So it's like changing things now. It's just saying, right, it's not safe to do that. I like the way that works. Right, so these come off, and we now have to give that a different order as well. Right, I'm going to probably have to stop this video, and we're not just going to have given orders out. Right, well, he's got medium activity. So remember, it's on this side, Grant, not that one, this one. So, and he's an intel marker, but hold on. Yeah, no, medium activity, intel marker. So we're in here. Now he is up to 3 from. He is up to 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, he's up to 3 from the player platoons. Modifier wise, what is it again? It's +1. So it's going to be +1 for the platoons. He's not going to get the -1 because it's for. Ah, yeah, well. For each hex with an intel marker, or at least 2 AI platoons located within 1 hex adjacent. Oh, wait a minute. Well, mind you, hang on, it's saying for each hex with an intel marker or 2 AI platoons. I was just thinking there, though, that when they guys rolled on that, we counted a +1 for that, and we counted a -1 for the intel marker. And then I started thinking, well, there's 2 AI platoons adjacent here as well. But it does say or there, doesn't it? For each hex, well, hang on. -1 for each hex with an intel marker. It does say or though, Grant. Well, yeah, I mean, This is a hex with an intel marker. This is a hex with two AI platoons that are both adjacent. Oh, I'm not sure there. The modifiers in the rulebook, does it? Where are we? What is this again? This is given orders, isn't it? Orders, flow diagrams. No, I think I've moved on too far. There we go. Remember to modify -1 for each hex with an intel marker or at least 2 AI platoons within one hex. I think that's meaning just a one-off, isn't it? Again, I feel like it's one of the ones I can read in a different way. Just make it up how I'm reading it. It's the fact it says -1 for each hex. You know? And this is a hex that's got either an intel marker or 2 AI platoons. And this is a hex that has got an an intel marker or 2 AI platoons. So you see what I'm saying there? So I could read that as that's -2. But I could also possibly read it as saying that it's an OR and there's only one. Okay, well, let's go with the 1 but roll the dice in the hope that it doesn't matter. So what did we have? We had the +1 and... Right, what is this for? This is for the intel marker, isn't it? There's a +1 and a -1, but it might be a -2. So I don't think there's any modifiers, but I'm going to sort of have a -1 in brackets there. We're in medium. We're here. Yes, we're here, and we need well, let's consider it a -1, see what we get, see if it matters. So 1 to 5 assault, 6 to 10 attack, with possible -1, 7. So if it's not a -1, it's going to be attack. If it is a -1, it's going to be attack. Anybody got any opinions on that? Wouldn't mind an answer on that one. Am I reading that in the wrong way? Because it says or, do I only count that once? Or do I count each individual hex? Because it does say per hex. -1 for each hex. So, yeah, I don't know. So I think there was a -1. So that's going to be an attack order. Right. That's fine. Okay. I need another attack then. That's assault. So on the backside of that we should have attack. There we go. So this intel marker is going to attack. So I should, yeah, well, can I put that there maybe? And maybe just put this here. It does say these are meant to go underneath them, but... Right, that's us giving out the orders there. No, that's for him, yeah. We took the other ones away, yeah. That's us giving out the orders. Look, I'm at 1 hour and 9 minutes there, I think. I think if I stop here, though, as well, I'm feeling quite comfortable about wanting to come back, maybe, if I get the chance tonight, so... Whereas if I move on a little bit and get myself tied up and frustrated again, I might not. So, and the fact I'm at 1 hour and 9 minutes. So I'm just going to pause things there. There's the red counters across there, cubes. So I'm just going to mark this with a red cube there. Well, actually, you know what? I'll put one on that just to remind us that they're both together. Okay, I'm going to just cut this part for now, and hopefully I might get back later on to see happens. I know we've decided what they're doing, we've not decided where they're doing it and whatever, so it's just things have moved on there a bit. But yeah, to be honest, that was quite good. I liked how some things were working out there though, so yeah, we shall see. Okay, I'll be back later. Cheers.